Hello again, everyone. Today I am going to be swatching these Gansai Tambi Art Nouveau set from Kuretake. I had seen a few videos early on in this release and immediately wanted to get them, and they were sold out everywhere. But I did manage to get a package in one of the restocks on Amazon. I will put a link down below to this product on Amazon. And I will also take the plastic wrap off so you're not dealing with all that crinkling anymore. I literally just got these in the mail and wanted to go ahead and get my first impressions right away. A lot of really beautiful colors in here. So this lists the colors here, and then this paint, it says it's Japanese traditional paint for professional artists and crafters. It can be used as a gouache and watered down for use as a watercolor. Because this, I think most of these do have white in them. Let me take that off too, so you can get rid of that glare as well. They do have a lot of white in them. But I've been pretty impressed with all of the Kuretake ones that I've had before. It always comes with this little swatch sheet on the inside, so I think I might do this at the same time that I'm doing swatches on another piece of paper. This is just how it will be stored, like that. Oh, and this also has the colors, so let me actually put that off to the side there. And let me see. So I mentioned in a recent video that I haven't been able to locate an empty Pentalic field book to start doing more swatches again. This is an older one that has a bunch of color mixing in it, and I've already done the Tooli art acrylic markers. I'm blanking on it, all the name of everything, which are these. And so showed you all of those, and I have to say that as an update, they have been fantastic. Not that I'm really surprised by that, and I wanted to show you a few things that I've already done with them. So I'm trying to put those off to the side where they won't fall over. So these here, so let me sort of tell you the situation here. So these were not completely created with those markers. The doodles on top were created with those markers. These are already, for the most part, jelly prints that I did with various shapes and textures and that sort of thing. But then I picked some coordinating colors to sort of do some doodling on top. So I'm just going to show you a few examples, but it's the pens have been great. They're really nice and opaque, and they're really nice muted colors. Here's another one. So all of these marks here are with the pen. This was part of the jelly printing process, and this is on an old map as well as this one. This is also on an old map, and then this is just on a regular piece of paper. And I really struggled with what to do with this one because it just had sort of a really big solid swatch or swath of color here, and I didn't know what to do with it. So I kind of did an all over doodle pattern on there. And what I plan on doing with these is not using them as is. I plan on tearing them up or cutting them up and using them in collages, because this is a little busy for using just as is, but they'll be really nice added to another collage with some calmer pieces. And this, I think this was just paint that I had applied to a piece of paper in various ways, and then I just put some circles on there. But the markers are great. They don't, you don't have to prime them very often, so that's great. Anyway, the whole reason why I'm showing you that is because I'm going to be swatching the Kuretake watercolors on the same page as I did with these markers, and I just wanted to give you an update on those since they were up here on the screen. I'm going to try something a little bit new with my swatching today. I'm going to use this dagger brush, which is from Royal and Langnickel. This is a super cheap dagger brush that actually works pretty well. But I basically had it at my desk for a really long time and haven't used it. As you can see, made in China is in really big letters, and I hesitate to take the labels off of these because sometimes they leave sticky stickiness. Yeah, this one is probably going to do that. And then you've got a sticky handle, which attracts fur and everything else. But I am going to try and swatch with this dagger brush because I think that would be good for these size pans. But let me go ahead. I'm going to swap that out. I'm going to put those colors off to the side. Let's see, I'm going to zoom in here so we see the main event here in the middle. I will show you this as I'm swatching as well, but I'm just going to keep it over here for right now. I do have some water off the screen here, and I'm going to, first off, I'm going to wet my brush pretty good because this has been sitting out for a while, unused brushes. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of water in each pan so that we can get these a little bit damp. I don't find that the Kuretake colors take much effort to get color out of them, but this just makes things a little easier, and hopefully we'll get the color to flow a little faster. And if you do want to use these as gouache instead of watercolor, my guess is that not all of these would be opaque with just a single pass. You'd probably have to do a couple passes to make sure they're opaque. Okay, so what I'm just going to start at the top here with a color called Saffron Yellow. So these are all supposedly Art Deco style colors, so I probably should have started that brush on the other side. Because as you can see, like this seems pretty translucent. So if you wanted this to be completely opaque, it would probably take quite a bit of paint to do that. So I'm also going to put that here. There we go. Hopefully that won't drip down in the meantime. Okay, so the next color is green gold, which is definitely one of my favorite colors in all media. I'm just going to go across here. Sorry, my hands are a little shaky today. Not quite sure what's up with that. It seems to be happening more frequently lately. All right, so that's green gold. I'm not going to be labeling the colors as I go, but I will tell you what they are. And the reason why I've been rinsing the brush off is so that I can get sort of a fresh start with my swatch that's on here so that I can kind of be consistent. So that's the green gold. This next color is called Flax Beige. Seems like a very pretty beige color. Go figure. Very pretty. I could go over a little bit further. I'm probably going to have to go onto the next page would be my guess, although maybe I'll just keep going across and see. All right, so let's do the little swatch on the lid as well, because this is actually really handy to have as a little swatch guide. Actually, yeah, there we go. And I try to get a little bit of variation on there so you can see what it looks like in its mass tone, which is like the most solid color you can get out of it, and the somewhat diluted color. This next color is Ecru Beige, so a lighter beige. Got a lot of really nice neutrals here. All right, and this brush is working really well. I used it a lot when I first got it, but then I kind of held off on using it. And it's really great. You can use, I really love dagger brushes. You can use them as you would a round brush. You can use them somewhat like you would a flat brush. They're just really versatile, and you can even use, you know, sort of like the tippy tip to do some, you know, scroll work or doodle work with your watercolors. All right, so this next color here is Pale Pink. Always like a good pale pink. Oh wow, that's very like Hello Kitty pink, I would say. So I'm gonna do one more here. And when you're working with watercolors like this, you'll find that your water gets really dirty really fast because there is so much white or opaque pigment in here that it will cloud your water. So here's that pale pink. Next we have coral pink. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, coral pink usually has like a touch of orange in it, so it tends to be not quite so like pink, which I like. All right, and now I'm going to do the swatch for that. Here, coral pink. Okay. And this is a color that I was kind of surprised to see in a Kuretake set. It's Potter's Pink, and it does not appear to be a granulating Potter's Pink, which is usually what Potter's Pink is in other watercolor, but it definitely has the same color tone going on. That is actually really, really nice. Let me try not rinsing my brush and see what we get here. Yeah, I think that's still fine, but you don't get as much concentration at the bottom. But yeah, we can work on that. So that's Potter's Pink. It's a really pretty pink. Then we have Vermilion, which tends to be a pretty warm red, like more on the side of orange. Oops, let me get some more water in there. Okay, there's that Vermilion. And now I'm going to see if I can do... Yeah, I think this works okay. Like I said, I'm just not getting the saturation on the bottom. Okay, Vermilion. Okay, and this next one says it's alizarin crimson, but this, in the pan anyway, does not look like alizarin crimson at all. It looks more like sort of a mauve color, which is the next color says it's a mauve. Yeah, I would not call this alizarin crimson at all. It's beautiful, but I would not call it alizarin crimson. Okay, so let's go ahead and, well, let's humor them and put that in the alizarin crimson color. Okay, so this next one is Mauve Taupe. So we have another really beautiful neutral. This one's really a nice purplish neutral. Really, really nice. These are so pretty. So, so pretty. And I will put these closer up to the camera at the end. Oh, let me get that there so you can actually see it. Mauve Taupe. Okay. And then the next one, which I'm going to need a little bit more water on these starting here because the water is already evaporating. This next one is called Old Mauve. Another, I would almost call this like a lavender. Really pretty. My swatches are clearly not even here as far as their size. So this is Old Mauve. There we go. But so far, I mean, these colors are all really right up my alley. Then we have a grayish blue, which I always like a good grayish blue. Oh, that's beautiful. These are all so lovely. I mean, I actually am just really happy to see them all in this little swatch thing here. Really nice. All right, so the next color is Cobalt Turquoise Light. And I'm pretty sure that there is some color like this in one of the other Kuretake sets. I haven't necessarily, I don't remember offhand whether there's one like this, but this is a gorgeous, gorgeous color. I'm actually going to have to dip back into the color to do this swatch. Okay. Hopefully that might not have been in frame, sorry. It's hard to go between a bunch of different things here. All right, and then we have Pale Aqua, which is a really beautiful light blue. Yeah, lovely, lovely. Really nice and pale. And then there's that Pale Aqua there. Oops. Got paint on the side of my water jar there. All right. And next we have Cobalt Green. I love Cobalt Green in the other watercolors I have in this color. Yeah, and this is a pretty true to Cobalt Green. Sometimes I don't agree with the color choices that they name, like alizarin crimson. Come on. I mean, maybe they meant this, but no, because that's totally vermilion. So no, that was Potter's Pink. Which one was alizarin crimson? This one. This is what they called alizarin crimson, and that is like totally not alizarin crimson. Okay, Cobalt Green. Okay. The next color is Billiard Green. I think this also looks similar to what I would call sort of a British racing green, maybe? It's really pretty. I love that green. That is a really nice green. Okay, and you'll get less of a glare once these start drying off, and I will put them up to the camera at the end. There's your Billiard Green. Lovely. These are great colors. These are all colors that I would pretty much pick myself. Okay, so where are we? Shadow Green is next. Oh boy, I love that. It's almost like a Paraline green. That's a really nice green. Shadow Green. And the idea is that, you know, these would be like Art Nouveau colors. There's Shadow Green. I think we're actually going to have enough on the bottom of this page. Yeah, we should. Okay, so the next one is Pea Green, which in the pan looks pretty much as you would expect pea green to look, although it's a little light. I mean, it's like not like split pea soup green, but actual fresh pea pea green. That's pretty much what I would associate with that. Pea green. It's a really nice bright green color. And the saffron yellow, now that that's dry, I really, really love that yellow. It's bordering on green, that yellow. All right, so now we have a color called Ivy Green. Let's see. This one doesn't look too exciting, but as far as the greens go, this one's probably the least exciting, I think. Ivy Green, but you know, I mean, it's a good usable green for sure. Ivy Green, and then we have Green Gray. Oh, wow. That's beautiful too. Looks like I do have some oils on the paper here. One thing that I have noticed with the Kuretake paints is you do tend to get this sort of cauliflowering with the water. If you add too much water, it tends to do that. And I tend to use more water because I do like to use these as watercolor as opposed to gouache. So that is something, like if you want a really, really smooth color, you got to kind of watch out for that. Like, don't use as much water if you want to avoid that. There's that Green Gray. You also could just try to meter your water, basically making sure that it's consistently wet across the paint area. Okay, so now we have some more neutrals. This is Beige Gray. It's a really nice warm gray. I I like that a lot. I've really warmed up to neutrals for sure, especially in watercolors, because I think they are really versatile. So there's that beige gray. And then we have a yellow brown. This color, I mean, minus the granulation, it kind of reminds me of one of the colors in the Schmincke granulating set. I can't remember which one. Maybe the Tundra. It's a really great color. And then I'm going to put that on here. Trying to add a little bit more water at the bottom so you can get a better sense of the different variations of the color. That's yellow brown. And then we have, it says it's a Mars yellow, but I would not call this a Mars yellow. I mean, perhaps it is like a Mars yellow as in like the color of Mars. But usually the Mars yellows that I'm seeing are a little bit more yellow than that. This seems more orange. It's a lovely color though. It's really pretty. Looks like I got a lot of that on my brush. So yeah, that's a beautiful color. I don't know what I would call that instead of Mars yellow. All right, and then one more. We have Venetian red, which is always a good red, good opaque red, in my opinion. Yeah, Venetian red tends to be very opaque, regardless of the medium. And there we go. And then I'm going to put the last color in here. There we go. So as a collection of colors, I think this is a really great set. These are really up my alley as far as color choices. I'm really loving the muted down colors lately, so this is perfect. Only a couple of things that I think would be a misnomer as far as what they're called, like Mars Yellow and the Alizarin Crimson. But everything else seems pretty spot on with their color descriptions. Although I do wonder if Saffron Yellow would be a little bit more orange, but they're lovely. And let me go ahead and put these up to the camera. They're actually getting some really interesting texture here because I did add so much water. So beautiful. Oh, and that pink dried a little bit less Hello Kitty. That is the pale pink. And then that coral pink is great. Potter's pink. Yeah, if you want a non-granulating Potter's pink, this one's great. It seems like one of these things is not like the others, kind of like on Sesame Street. I do think that the vermilion kind of stands out as being like not as muted as the rest of the palette. But I think that it works in the context of an Art Nouveau palette because I do think that there are a lot of bright reds in that palette. So as far as Art Nouveau imagery. All right, and so many good neutrals. I don't know how these would mix. I haven't had all that much luck mixing my Kuretake paints. I mean, you can mix them, but as you can't get clean mixes is what I'm trying to say, because all of these are a blend of different colors, except for maybe the vermilion red. You probably could mix that with like the yellow and you'd probably get a pretty interesting orange. But for the most part, these are mixes of color or they're opaque, which makes it a little harder to mix as well, because when you have two opaque colors that you mix, they kind of fight each other. Because with translucent color, because the pigment is translucent, essentially you can see through each pigment to see the combined color, if that makes sense. But with a opaque pigment, they're kind of fighting for which one gets to be opaque, if that makes sense. You can get some lovely mixes with them, but it's just a little harder than with transparent colors. But I would say, you know, if muted colors are your thing, definitely get this set. Like I said, I haven't bought any watercolors for a while, and I was like, I better not buy any more watercolors because I have so many watercolors. But then this one was unique enough that I felt like I did want to add it to my watercolor collection. All right, well, that's all I had for you today. Feel free to subscribe to keep track of future videos on my channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. I hope to see you next time, but in the meantime, have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.